I think it's only fair to talk about some of the stuff that's been brought to everyone's attention with the Sentinels. It's not possible to geofilter without yourself knowing. It's just not possible. So, basically here I'm just gonna pull up some stuff. So I'll explain everything, okay? So let me just make sure you guys can see my here, I'm pulling up my stream actually. So I'm actually going to remove my camera real quick. All right, so I'm literally only doing this because TJ was just saying their side of the story, and I just want people to be non-biased in this situation because this is just an integrity issue, and I take integrity very, very seriously. And basically, there were posts on Reddit, there were posts online of like basically you being able to geofilter, which is essentially when you can go into your router settings or you can go into like your IP settings and you can choose not to ping to servers over a certain ping, or you can basically just like cancel out servers altogether, so you will not connect to those servers, and if other players in the lobby can connect to those servers, you will be routed to the servers that you have chosen. So I know in PJ, but I think TJ, I think that is I think that's also up for question, is like it could have, I'm not saying it is, I'm trying to be as like unbiased here as possible, is it could have been done without you being told. And that's why it's only Royal 2 that I think is under question. And I'm going to kind of just go over some of the stuff. So basically after the Optic series versus Sentinel series, a lot of the teams came together and said that they had issues against Sentinels. We saw that Sentinels was having issues with the lobbies, and it was only Sentinels that was having issues with the lobbies, which a lot of people were also saying was part of this, that's why this was an issue, because it not only forced certain servers, but it also caused the Halo stream to look really bad. And I just think, like, I know that Sentinels will always back up their teammates. Like, of course, that's what you should do as teammates, because you're never going to think that or assume that that's happening. But I think it's also like objective to be like, okay, like if you think there's an integrity issue, let them do their research and find out for themselves. And basically after the tournament, they were confronted about possibly geofiltering, and Royal 2 went back and deleted his VODs. And I don't have audio on this. There is no audio. But I think the deleting of VODs was really harmful to this situation, because there's no reason to delete VODs. And it just looks suspicious, like you're trying to hide things. And basically this video is taken the day after the tournament, so all the VODs from 7 days before the tournament were deleted, which is why I can't go over Royal 2's point of view on this. Otherwise I would have been showcasing his ping the whole time. So I kind of just hop into Frosty's VOD, and basically anytime, this is from 2 days ago, so this was day 1 of the tournament, I believe, or this is either day 1 or day 2 of the tournament. So what you need to focus on is the ping in the top right, and Frosty is from Texas, and Texas to Seattle is 60 ping. So I know this because I have teammates that have I've played on Seattle servers. I ping 40 to Seattle. Dallas pings 60 to Seattle. Florida pings 100 to Seattle. Like I ping 20 to LA. I ping 50 to Texas. Like it's just how it works. So we'll notice, and usually the way that servers work in Halo is that it averages out the ping in the lobby. So like if you have 4 people from Florida and 4 people from California, it should be like a Dallas server to make the ping as like fair as possible. That's usually how it works. Obviously there's like some instances where it doesn't, but that's just usually how servers work. It usually averages out the lobby. So we're going to notice in this video that every round, can you even see? You can see it, I think, in the top right there. You can see it. So Frosty's on 60 ping, and you're going to notice, like, I have to flip through the VOD in this video of him going to every round, but anytime you see his teammates in the game, you're going to notice that Frosty's on 60 ping. And so this is the tournament. So basically, so that was round 1. Frosty goes into, like, I think he's just watching a series here. And then this is their next round where they're playing against Helava's team right here. And you can see again in the top right, they're on 60. Frosty's on 60 ping, which is to the same server. So this series ends. And now they are playing King Nick's, now they're playing United. And once again, it's a 60 ping server for Frosty, so it's the same server. And then we're gonna go to they played us right before this. It was a 60 ping server, and now they're playing Optic in the finals. This is the finals right here where they're playing Optic, and you can see again it's a 60 ping server. And it started getting questioned during this series because you have Lucid, who's from Florida. You have Trippy and APG, who are from Texas. You have Snakebite from New Jersey. You have Ola from South Carolina. You have TJ's from Texas. Basically, everyone's Central Texas or East Coast or Midwest. And then you have Royal 2, who's Saskatchewan, Canada. And if you guys remember, like, Lucid was pinging 100, and it was another Seattle server. So, like, for them to get a Seattle server during this series was where it was really sus. And people were wondering how that's even possible. I was also wondering how that's even possible. And another thing is, like, every time that I've played a team, like every time I've played United, it's been the same server. Every time I've played C9, it's been the same server. Every time I've played the same team more than once, it's been the same server. The server's never changed. And if it would change, like them getting the Seattle servers, then I should be getting a Los Angeles server every random time. I should just be getting a Los Angeles server. Or like every game should be changing servers depending on the lobby. Like it should just change. And if you keep going, you can go into their rounds. This is now, I think, so that was the Optic series. So now you can see this is 12 days ago. So this is 12 days ago from Frosty's VOD. We were just watching the tournament games only. Yeah, but TJ, you guys complaining about it is, once again, you guys weren't the ones under question. It was just Royal 2. It was just Royal 2 under question. Like we said, like, it's possible that he just didn't tell anyone. I think that's like the number one thing here, which is why he's the only one that is and should be under investigation for this. But so now we go to the tournament from 2 weeks prior, and this is straight from the rulebook. Using any cheats, hacks, or other third-party helper applications, or the modification of game code files beyond the intended use of standard game options while competing in any element, for the purpose of gaining an unfair competitive advantage, which would be being able to choose your own servers, because you're not allowed to do that in game. So we're going to go into their tournament matches. So we just saw them play SSG. And in this video, you can see Frosty's pinging 30 in the series versus SSG. Which when he played them in the recent tournament, it was 60 ping. And then you can go into, see, that's his just matchmaking. And now they're about to play Soul Snipe, Druck, CC, and Frosty's pinging 20. And they played this team in the previous week as well. And Frosty's pinging 20 here. So you can see the servers don't stay the same. And then if you keep going, they're playing against C9, which we just watched as well. And Frosty has 30 ping. And then the next series, they go to play Optic. And once again, Frosty has 30 ping. So this is where like the evidence started to get strange, because it just didn't add up in comparison to like what everyone else was pinging against these teams, because it just wasn't changing. And then if you really want to, like, that's the end of that. And then you can go back into the VODs. This is from, actually, is that the end of it? So that's that. And then, hold on a second. So that was that right there. Let me see something real quick. I don't want to show anything. So let me try and pull something up here. So this is kind of like just something else I put together. It's just this video. So basically this is just me flipping back and forth from the teams that they played from 2 weeks ago and the teams that they played from the tournament. So I know I just kind of did this a little bit, but this is just a little more clear. So this is from the day of the tournament, and this is when they're playing C9. And once again, Frosty's back on the 60 ping server against C9. And then you flip to the VOD. This is them versus C9 from 12 days ago, where Frosty's on 20 ping. And then you flip to the VOD from 12 days ago, where they play Optic, which I just showed. They're playing Optic right here. Frosty's on 30 ping. And then you flip to the VOD versus Optic from the tournament, which is yesterday. It says it right there. Oops. It says it right there from yesterday, and he's back on 60 ping. That same Seattle server. And then you go to the series of them versus Kratos. This is actually a scrim versus Kratos' team. So we're no longer in the tournament. This is just a scrim versus Kratos' team from 11 days ago, where Frosty's on 34 ping. And then they played them first round of the tournament the next day, and Frosty's back on 60 ping. So no matter what team they're playing from any location, it's the same server. You do the same thing. This is us versus them, where Frosty's on 30 ping versus us from 7 days ago, when we scrimmed them 7 days prior to the tournament. And then you go to us versus them in the tournament, and once again, we're back on a 60 ping server. 60 ping server. And then, like, obviously, I have one last thing that I can kind of go over a little bit. So this is from, we actually went and downloaded Royal 2's VODs before he deleted them, just in case that something like that happened, because we were all concerned of this being an actual investigation. And what was stated to us was that, and presented to us as evidence, was that Royal 2's connection was lagging to the Chicago network of Microsoft IPs. So his ISP said that they were going to route him through the Seattle network, and that was their argument as to why he was routing only to Seattle servers. And like, I mean, ISPs, like, in my knowledge, ISPs don't just block servers. Like they don't just go out of their way to block every single server besides Seattle. Like it's just, that would be, I would be astounded if an ISP did that just because you're lagging. But I don't know that. I don't know like 100%, but this is from his VODs, and you can just see. So these, you can see it right here. This is from 12-1 and 12-2 were the VODs that were deleted, but we weren't able to download everything. This is just some of the stuff. So this is just I'm just gonna kind of flip through a couple games. So this is just a bizarre CTF game. You can't, I don't know if you can even see it, but he's pinging like 50, like 49, 50, 51, and this is a Seattle server for him. So this is the ping that he plays on every game, and you can go back, and this is a Bizarre Slayer game once again. So Bizarre Flag ended, now Bizarre Slayer, where he's on 50 ping again in the top right, and then he goes and plays a Streets game where he's on 50 ping again. And if we know how matchmaking servers work, like I never play on the same server multiple, I just don't play on the same server. Like it's usually a different server like every game. And then we get into a game here where it's the next game where World 2 is pinging 200. World 2 is pinging 200. So when I saw this, I didn't really understand how he was pinging 200, and him getting a 200 ping server means that not every server besides Seattle was blocked. It means that he can still connect to other servers. And this made me question if another person in the lobby was using their own geofilter and it just took priority over his, which is a possible situation, because who knows what happens when multiple people are using a geofilter to get the right connections. And that was the big question mark. And I think like I just think at the end of the day, all the information just needs to be presented, and for Halo to be taken seriously, this type of stuff is just part of the process. Like just if teams come to the league with concerns, then it's fair to have an internal investigation. And I think it's fair that this happened. And then I don't know, like it's there's just a lot of things that don't add up. There's just a lot of things that don't add up. And if you go and check, these are older VODs. Now these are old VODs of him just playing matchmaking from like I think I showcase. So this is from, I click on this video right here, 11-24. So on 100, he's pinging 100 to this server, pinging 100 to this server, pinging 90 to this server. I go to a different VOD from one that isn't deleted, and he's pinging 64, another 100 server, another 200 server. And it's just strange that the only two servers that you see the entire time are a random 200 ping server, and then only Seattle servers for those full days. And I think it just became a big deal because we're playing for like hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we're playing for like seeding at the big first tournament. And I just think it's fair. I just think it's fair to have these types of investigations, but I understand like their frustration, and I understand like why, you know, they're backing up their teammate and like they don't want it to be true. But I also think that's why not all of Sentinels is being accused, and it's mostly just like a big question mark being pointed in one direction. I'm not saying like anyone is like, no one's guilty until proven, but I think it's fair to build a case, which is what this is. So, but that's basically everything. But like I said, like I just care about integrity, and I just take this shit seriously. So like I don't know. I just wanted it to be presented, and I wanted 343 to just do their own investigation. Hopefully things get cleared soon in one way or the other, because I think it just needs to happen. It needs to be public. So yeah, the whole situation is just pretty fucked all around. It really is it's just pretty fucked all around. And I think like TJ, I'm not gonna lie, you're not helping your situation being like aggressive towards teams and players and everything. It's not gonna help the situation regardless of what happens, because at the end of the day, like, if you know you have nothing to hide, then it's like, okay, just let 343 do their shit. Let's get this over with and move on, so we can get scrims going again. And it's probably not gonna happen before rally, but like after the tournament. I think we've all been waiting. I mean, we've all been waiting. I've been messing. I'm just like, can we like get something going here? Like because if something does happen, then they need to figure out the seeds for the tournament. They need to figure out what's gonna happen there. The fucking like flights, all that stuff. And if something doesn't happen, then it needs to be like it needs to be expressed. Like yeah, I know, it's the same thing. I get this. I just get the corporate response, and it's like, I mean, what am I supposed to do? Be like, you put a rush on it? Like, I mean, like, what am I supposed to say? You're saying his ISP might have recommended he filtered. It doesn't matter though. If his ISP recommends he filters, and then he goes out of his way to filter, that's specifically against the rules. But I think that's like you have Sentinel side, which is just a complete like. The hard part for Sentinels is that they've been completely on their own and in the dark. So like they've just been probably behind the scenes like stressing the fuck out, which makes total sense. Whereas like the other side have had like groups talking about like things that we believe, or this like slightly mob mentality. But no one has gone public with any of this, really. No one's really like attacked them publicly and been like, you are 100% guilty. There might have been some messages sent back and forth between the players, but it hasn't been like this big public thing. I think a lot of people are just wanting to get to the bottom of it. I've had my like, obviously I have my own opinions on the situation. I think it's very like, I think there's a good chance that it's true, but until the back end is searched and until it's figured out and the investigation is done, then like I'm not gonna be like it's not possible, or that, you know what I mean? Like, you know, it is like that's what it is. So for more context, this was what TJ was talking about, where his team was talking about the lag. Anyone else from the East Coast playing a 90 plus ping in every custom game for some reason now? Been this way since last weekend. I'm trying to figure out if it's my internet or not. Not an issue in matchmaking though. So obviously, like, I read this. How do I go dark mode, bro? This is actually hard on my eyes. So PJ tweets this, and this just like, obviously he's not aware of like what's happening or it being a possibility here. Then you have some of the comments. Like, people are like, oh, I don't know, like, it's World 2's West Canada, so it averages the ping, which is what's done. But if it was averaging the ping like we saw in the 2 weeks ago, then it would have been the servers like they had. At the end of the day, the only things that I can think of is if either it was happening or his ISP was doing some crazy shit behind the scenes without saying anything, or like that those are like the only two options that are possible in my eyes. Those are the only two options that are possible. So, and then you have Mishi, just my guess, if people you are scrimming have blocked certain servers. Happens in every custom game now, though. Would be a wild coincidence that everyone has the same block. Then it's like, well, if it's only your custom games, that's true, unless it's someone on your team that did it. I wouldn't know though, just an idea. And it's just people giving their opinions on it. But that just kind of shows that like not everyone could be aware. And then this is bug fix, no more lag. Select the server you want to play on. A guide on how to play Halo on the server you deserve. And basically like it just shows you how to block servers. Because someone linked me this and they were like, yo, like so that like it's very easy to do for the most part. But like it's just I'm trying to be as objective and unbiased as possible, because it's just a fucking crazy situation, man. It's just a crazy situation because obviously they don't need to do it. Like they don't need an advantage, and like they wouldn't but it is a big issue. It is a big issue.